You ready for the interview?
Yeah, sort of.
You ready, John?
Oh, well, I guess as ready as I can be. Ian, this is Lisa.
How you doing? Good, very well.
And this is Michael.
Michael, how do you do?
G'day, nice to meet you.
We'll head up here and go to the meeting room up the hall.
Beautiful. Okay. You're from Golden City.
Support services, yeah.
What philosophy exactly underpins your service?
I think in a nutshell, I'd have to say it's we exist to support people to have a life in the community. For over 30 years now, this organisation has had that at its very core.
What range of disabilities do you work with?
Well, it'd be easy to say almost the whole range. So if someone comes and they require support, we try to work out what the individual support needs are. So we support people with autism spectrum that are on the autism spectrum, or with Asperger's. We support people that have a physical disability, a sensory disability, an intellectual or cognitive disability, an acquired brain injury, or any mix of those. But really, if anyone really required support and came to our organisation, we would work out whether we could provide that service.
It's interesting, it's been a bit of a shift, I guess, from looking at someone's diagnosis in medical terms to looking at what their support needs are. So it does open it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
You ask what's changed since the Disability Act. Really, the whole context and motivation of this organisation occurred a long time before the new Act was brought into being or was even thought of. But everything to do with this organisation began, first of all, 30 years ago, and then we had a major look at how we support people and the type of frameworks that we support people through about 10 or 12 years ago. So that's a long time before the Disability Act, and that's when the emphasis on being person-centred, the issue of and the focus on people being involved and engaged in everything to do with their life.
In a society inclusive way?
Sure.
The way Golden City Support Services started was with a group of families who wanted to provide some options for their sons and daughters to live in the community the way that everyone else does, and so that they didn't feel that their only option was to use an institutional model.
That's exactly right. We've also been very, very influenced by the work of Jim Mansell, who has developed a framework that's called Person-Centred Active Support. And I would have to say that all of it is undergirded with what's called, in fact, positive frameworks, or working, in fact, positively with someone. And so that's what really has influenced us. All that fits very neatly in what the direction of what was, I suppose, the new disability legislation. It's hardly new anymore, was, because we see for the first time that there are in fact quality of life indicators that show and are expected in regard to outcomes for the work that organisations and staff do.
Do you take into account the dignity of risk for individuals?
It's a very big question, because people can't be involved in lifelong learning without taking some risks. That's the first thing. And certainly we also know that the people who we support want to experience new things, and they want to be involved within lifelong learning, and so they will wish to take risk. Many of the people we support, well, almost all of them, in fact, are adults. Not everyone requires support within every aspect of their life, and like you and I, they have the same right to decide to do an event or to do anything as anyone else.
Exactly.
So the issue is not that we try to work through is not whether someone can do something or not. It's whether the agency can support them to do that or not. It may be sometimes that they need to go with someone else, or to go through someone that is just doing that event naturally in the community all the time.
Yeah, and I guess it's very much that we're always trying to find out ways that we can assist or say yes to people
Yes.
to do that, and avoid the places where we have to say, oh look, we just, that's not possible for us to do. We try and always balance it on the side of helping people to do the things that they want to.
Another question that might be a bit difficult, but I'll ask it anyway. Do you support and encourage relationships amongst your clients?
It can be very challenging for agencies to work through the issues around relationships, intimate relationships, sexuality. Golden City has done quite a bit of work in this area, and we've developed policies and guidelines for our staff.
If we reflect on all of our intimate relationships and personal relationships, they go through seasons. And so it's really important that we have the ability to support people in the highs and lows of relationships, because for all of us, it is within relationships that we experience some of the best times, but it's also within relationships we also experience some of the worst of times. And so supporting the people who require support in their relationships through some of those worst of times is also something that we've had to gear up for, and has really challenged the organisation.
You must have something like a cut-off point for staff dealing with individual relationships and that.
Well, I think staff need to be supported as well to be able to do that kind of work, and to know where their limitations are and how they can refer people on when they need different kinds of support, extra support, wherever that might come from. We've tried to do that through some of the training that we've put in alongside our relationships and sexuality policy.
So for us, it is absolutely crucial that our staff understand how to listen to the person that they support, and don't assume that they know what the person wants, that they ask.
That's very good, actually.
So for us, the sense of the person telling us in every moment of the time what they want is very key to it, and we support our staff, and we in fact train our staff to listen, not just impose what staff think that they want to hear.
The other element in that is that people feel that they have control
Yes.
about what happens in those choices as well. So it's not just choosing, a red shirt or a green shirt. It's about how much control does the person have over that decision,
Yes.
and how it's done. So, if you go back to that example, not just the red or the green shirt, but thinking about how that person, what's their preference in the way that they get dressed. Like, do you put your pants on first, or do you put your shirt on first? What's your preference? And are you directing the way that happens? And that can be maybe the more important thing in some ways, that people feel that they have control in their lives. What's so important about staff getting an understanding of some of the principles involved, and being able to have conversations where they grasp those ideas and ways of thinking and attitudes, I guess, and I think that's a particular challenge for service to providers, to be able to have those conversations with staff and help staff to maybe change some of the patterns of thinking that they've had.